Rescuers spot baby orangutan in cardboard box. Realize there's still time to save him. But before we start, please take a moment to give this video a like, subscribe to Happy World, and hit the bell so you'll never miss these great stories. Global economic development is one of the major causes of climate change and the destruction of wild habitats. For many of us in urban environments, though, the problem may seem abstract and distant. But the plight of this baby orangutan might help us understand why it's critically important that we take action. When the animal rescue team first saw Guido, they initially thought he was dead. The baby orangutan looked almost mummified, and it became clear he was in dire need of help. But the veterinarian clinic was 9 hours away. Rescuers didn't know if he'd make it, but they had to try. International Animal Rescue is a non-profit organization that's dedicated to saving wild animals from inhumane and life-threatening situations around the world. Based in the UK, IAR has teams in India, Indonesia, and Malta, where they carry out rescue and rehabilitation operations. It was the Indonesia team that found baby Guido. The IAR team was notified there was a baby orangutan that needed help in the West Borneo village of Marawa, about 170 kilometers from their orangutan rehabilitation center in Ketapang. Apparently, the village chief had bought Guido to keep as a pet, which meant his mother had probably been killed by the poacher who caught him. It was not the first time the team had seen a situation like this, or so they thought. When rescuers arrived at the village, they spotted the baby orangutan inside a cardboard box in someone's backyard. The sun was blazing and Guido had no shade, but the situation looked worse and worse as they approached. The baby seemed dead. He was lying corpse-like with his arms folded across his chest, read the IAR website. His skin was gray and flaking, and he was almost hairless. It was a heartbreaking sight. After speaking to the villagers, the rescue team learned the baby orangutan had been bought for less than $30 and had been fed only condensed milk. The cardboard box was soaked in urine, as was Guido. It became clear he was not going to survive much longer. But according to Indonesian law, the team couldn't take him without the presence of a forestry official, so they made a crucial call. Rescuers called the forestry department and explained the situation, detailing Guido's critical condition. Luckily, the department allowed them to transport the baby to the clinic without an accompanying official. The orangutan was bundled up and loaded onto a motorcycle, but his survival was still a gamble. The clinic was 9 hours away. Miraculously, the baby orangutan survived the trip to the clinic. As they arrived, veterinary staff was ready to begin life-saving treatment. They put Guido on a drip to rehydrate him, and he was given an extensive checkup. It was then they realized he was suffering from sarcoptic mange, a parasitic skin disease that causes extreme irritation. To top it all off, he was severely malnourished. Saving his life would be an uphill battle. Clinic staff began massaging coconut oil into Guido's skin to soothe and soften it. It was an arduous task, made harder by the fact that the baby was still in shock and unable to relax his limbs. He let out harrowing little chirps of pain and fear and hung onto workers' hands as they tried to help him sit upright. But the hard work eventually paid off. After months of medication, proper nutrition, and 24-hour care, baby Guido finally regained his health. It's now been 3 years since he was rescued, and he looks like a completely different ape. His hair grew back a bright orange, and his skin is supple and healthy. Best of all, he's no longer the scared little orangutan that looked ready to die. These days, Guido can be seen climbing from tree to tree in IAR's protected forest sanctuary. He's a playful little orangutan who loves fruit snacks and likes to take his friends on adventures to the top of trees. Sadly, though, losing his mother meant losing his guide and teacher. He has much to learn before he can have a shot at surviving in the wild. IAR's Orangutan Rehabilitation Program focuses on helping orphaned orangutans learn the necessary skills to survive in a wild habitat. Baby orangutans usually spend the first 6 or 7 years of their lives with their mothers, who teach them everything from climbing to foraging to building nests. This job is now the responsibility of the IAR caretakers. Fortunately, according to them, Guido is a fast learner. He's learning fast. Currently on his list to learn is how to forage the forest for food, said Liz Key, communications manager for IAR. Then after that, it will be how to make a nest for the night. He'll remain at the center for several more years before he can be evaluated for re-release into the wild. And he's not the only orangutan on this journey. In recent years, IAR has seen a sharp increase in the number of orphaned orangutans in need of rescue and protection. There are many factors causing this, but the biggest is the rapid loss of their habitat. As a developing nation, Indonesia's industry is growing, which has led to massive deforestation efforts. This has created a devastating domino effect. Much of the rainforest in Indonesia has been cut down to make way for palm oil production. The deforestation has led to an increase in wildfires, which further decimate the orangutan's habitat. This means the reclusive apes have no choice but to get closer to villages, where they're at risk of poachers who steal the babies to sell as pets. Now all orangutan species are in critical danger. Orangutans are Asia's only great ape, but the region's economic development has profoundly threatened their existence. A century ago, there were more than 230,000 orangutans living across Southeast Asia. Today, only 20% of the population remains. Palm oil production is one of the major culprits. To help curb this problem, environmentalists urge consumers to only buy palm oil-free products or products certified by the Round Table on Sustainable Palm Oil.